don't you sit down and tell me what it's about?
So Fox Sports VR is an app we've developed with Fox Sports. We do live streaming in virtual reality. So rather than focus specifically on the video and do 360 video, we're trying to create an interactive experience where you can jump around between different camera angles, look at stats, dashboards on your table, jump around the 3D environment that we built for you, where you can look at highlights of past games as well as the current game and
So is it streaming video or downloading or
streaming?
All streaming?
Yeah, so we only do streaming, and actually most of the video you see there is exactly the type of video you'll see when we do it live.
Okay. And is it a Unity app or is it?
It's a Unity.
That's a nice startup environment. I would say it's a little bit on the white bright side for the same flicker reasons, up on the top, but it's a good use of the slightly lightly animated things like up above. I'd say the texture on the inside of the spinning ring is probably lower res than it should be, where that's a little bit fuzzy. Probably could be better. The main sports panels are rendered, looks like it's hard-edged rendering where in almost all cases when you render a panel, it's better to use blending so that you can have a nicely feathered edge. Even if it's not feathered over like a multiple pixel area, there's at least one pixel there to avoid it's got fairly visible edge crawl on the side of it. So this, I can tell, is it's a Snapdragon Adreno system where right now our default to 4x multi-sample anti-aliasing on the Mali, where it's essentially free, and we've been defaulting to 2x on Adreno because there's a little bit of a performance cost to it. I want us to actually change that advice, where I think even if you had to reduce the resolution a little bit, the 4x MSAA is probably the right thing to do for virtual reality. The panels themselves, there's a lot of aliasing inside them where I can tell that they're at least a couple times the resolution that they're being displayed here. You can see like the player's hair on the right, where it's kind of all fizzling around him because it's drop sampling into a much higher resolution texture. The quick fix for that is to make sure that all textures have mipmaps enabled and have trilinear mipmapping, which will get rid of the kind of large scale fizzling with it. But the best solution is to actually size the media specifically for it, because right now it's just wasting memory, possibly download time if they're all dynamic. Again, I'd point to the idea of, if we really need to get a MIP visualizer into Unity, because this comes up a whole lot. It really is, half the applications will have some problem with that. And it's just wasting download time and resources having the bigger one right now. Good use of, so the gaze cursor fades away when nothing's there. That's my argument about this, where it's a nice looking environment where I can look around and I want to see what the rest of this environment is. Although it's interesting, there's a region over by the bar stools where the gaze cursor is faded in. Is it set up so maybe you can have more panels over there even though there's nothing there right now? Oh,
it shouldn't be showing up.
Okay.
Yeah, unless there's something there, it shouldn't show up.
Okay, so a double tap recenters, which is a useful feature to have. Yeah, so I like although when I look over to the right, there's some hanging light fixtures supported by thin wires, and that is aliasing very badly again with the kind of shimmering as I move my head around. Most of the environment is fairly low frequency, where it looks like perhaps the textures and some of the things are higher resolution than necessary, but because most of it is like nice granite, nice lighting areas, the Fox Sports logo looks good, that's all inherently band limited, so it looks very good. But when you've got a few things like the wires supporting the lights, that shows up. Okay, and so good use of the combination of, I'm not a fan of gaze and hold as a sole interface. but it's actually quite good if you've got the option of you can tap on it to make it happen, or if you don't mind like sitting around and looking and just waiting for it to go. That is, like at the start a couple of years ago, I probably would have argued against that ever being a good UI paradigm, but I've evolved my position a little bit on that, where you should always allow a tap to happen right now, but letting somebody just look over it if they don't mind waiting 2 seconds for it to crawl around. Probably should have some kind of an audio cue that you're on one of those, that you don't want somebody to just not be paying attention, let their head drift over and have it auto start something. But if it can make a little tink sound when it's starting a countdown, then having that set up to go ahead should be fine. Again, nice environments. I like these. But again, all of the panel images are at too high of a resolution, coming in aliasing badly. Quick fix, just map everything, but you'll be better off for downloading content and everything if they're sized appropriately. So I moved to, it will reload the ones that you're already on with a little bit of a hitch in it. So I went to the UFC, started it up, but after it loaded it up, I'm still there. It's still got the play icon. If I stutter off and come back on, it reloads again, and then it just makes the videos briefly jerk before continuing on. Video quality looks pretty good.
So the environment that you're in right now is actually the Fox Sports Go Theater, where you can watch traditional 2D content within sort of like the Netflix style experience. If you back out and go to one of the other games, that's where we do the 180 live stream specifically meant for the application.
Yeah, there I am actually using the gaze and wait. I didn't want to lift my arm up. This is an interesting view. I can see the videos aliasing a little bit there as well, where the resolution is higher than what you got it presented there. So I can see in the crowd, there's a little bit of the fizzling going around. The field looks good, but again, either mapping videos is an unfortunate cost because you have to copy them from an external image to a regular texture to generate a bitmap. The scoreboards that are down at the bottom, alias is a fair amount when the text is put in perspective there. And again, the logos are also much too high resolution. But okay, and then that's nice to be able to sort of scroll through there. Over to the highlights room. I think there might be, you've got similar icons for, I can see you've changed it you got it by color where, actually it's not consistent. So there's things that you're doing where you're playing things in the current environment and then changing environments. And I was thinking that the color, the yellow-orange means going to a different environment, but from the first room, you've got blue plays that are taking you to the different environments. There's probably a better iconography to be had there about a specific icon. Like the exit room from the Fox Sports Go has a clear door with an arrow on it, which obviously means that you're going out the door someplace else. But you've got play icons that sometimes play a video in one place and then sometimes take you to a different room in different parts at the beginning of the application. But performance has been solid on this the whole time. The view looks good. So I would say that this is well done. the aliasing is something that's technically correctable across all of these. That's the only thing that really stood out where almost all of the imagery was higher resolution, and I would guess you're probably pulling them down as JPEGs from the net like that, so they come in and the resolutions aren't appropriate. But if you could have them gen bitmapped to build the bitmaps, that will make everything look better. But you can probably improve the overall experience by getting them sized correctly. For the video, it's probably, some of them are too high resolution again, where you can get better quality by, if you've got a bitrate budget that you're sending things over, you want to pick the exact resolution that it's going to be displayed at and use all of your bitrate for that, because now essentially some of your bitrate's being spent for pixels that wind up being sort of dithered in and out and not fully and don't wind up contributing to the quality. You can bitmap videos, but it's this extra step of it'll be more thermal load, and it can be more problematic if you're doing that. In Oculus Video, we do copy all of the videos and generate a bitmap for them, but it's something that if in a Unity app, there might be a little bit more worries about overheating, and especially an app like this, if you've got a lot of content coming in, it's something that you're probably hoping people spend a half hour or so looking at it in here. So I think that's well done on that. I think the environments look great. Fix up the media stuff there, and if you've got content from Fox Sports that people are going to want to watch, I think that's going to be a good thing for people. Thanks.
Great, yeah. Thank you so much.
Kid in a candy store. Kid in a candy store? Oh, she's ready. Thank you.